Hi, we're Rowland and Jane Vaness, and we live and work and serve in Kenya, East Africa. We both teach at St. Paul's University, a private Christian university training students in many areas. For 100 years, St. Paul's was a seminary, and recently St. Paul's became a Christian university. So they train not only pastors for churches, but also people in business, communication, and social science and other areas.
Whatever our students are studying, our real goal is for them to um, see God's calling on their lives and for their future work. And it's a real privilege to be part of discipling them in that process. As a teacher, of course, your main area of um, gratitude is when you see your students taking what they've learned in the classroom and applying that to their life and ministry. And so that's really where we see God at work. And the student that I want to share about is a student named Edna. And she chose to go into prison ministry. And she was working or is working in a large men's prison near Nairobi. And as a young woman, that was really a challenge for her and brought her outside of her comfort zone. But what we saw in her and her work was that God was really able to use her willingness to go beyond what she was eager to do or what she felt was comfortable for her. And through her work with the prisoners and the guards and the staff, we could really see that they were feeling the love of Christ and learning more about Jesus.
Mhm. And the second student is a very recent student, Clark, who I just had him for several classes, and he graduated and went back to his home diocese, where he was actually put in charge of a diocesan school of evangelism and training. So just as I taught him, now he's teaching many people in his diocese to be pastors and teachers, and he was again appreciating what he had learned at St. Paul's and the chance he had to put it into practice in his own diocese for his own ministry context.
Our recent challenges have been related to COVID-19. And in Kenya, churches were closed, schools were closed for many months. And even now, as churches and schools reopen, that's kind of slowly happening and intermittent because I think in part, so few people have been able to be vaccinated. Right now, less than 5%. That is a hard thing for people to go back to their usual life when there's not really been an answer to the problem of COVID. And of course, that has had a huge impact on people economically. And also at St. Paul's, we're continuing to figure out how we can engage with our students, even if it might be only virtually rather than in the classroom.
For for both of us, teaching online was a challenge at first, and doing our ministry, our other ministry opportunities, we lead two different services, and we had to figure out how to do that from home. We teach a lot of classes, and we had to figure out how to do that also from home, mostly at night, because a lot of our students are weekend or evening students. And also, we both had more students because students from other campuses suddenly, virtually, they could take classes from us at the main campus. So we had more classes and more students and took up more of our time. But thankfully, we were able to do that from our house.
We are going to need to be getting a new work permit. And that can often be a long and difficult process. So we covet people's prayers for that process, that all the paperwork goes through smoothly. And then the other thing that we're facing in 2022 is the upcoming elections, which are held later in 2022. In Kenya, there has been a history of some unrest and difficulties around the time of national elections. So we pray for peace and safety, and we appreciate your prayers on that as well.
In general, our prayer requests are usually for not only for ourselves, but also for our staff and our students at St. Paul's. There are many staff teaching at the four different campuses and the three different faculties, and it's always hard for them to juggle life and work and ministry in their different contexts. And for our students, that they would be able to afford St. Paul's tuition and also be able to continue to learn during the pandemic. Most of our students just use their cell phones to do all their online learning. So we prayed that they would have that equipment and be able to afford the bundles that allow them to study that way.
Yeah, we're really grateful for the faithful support we have received in prayer and financially through our many years of ministry with RCA Global Missions. And really, we could not do what we do without that support and that partnership. So that is just so meaningful to us. And it's also something that our partners at St. Paul's University and our colleagues there are also grateful for. They really find it important to be part of the global church, and knowing that people are praying for them here in North America is something that helps them when things are difficult. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.